Well, hey all, and welcome back. So today I have a very neat short review, the Imaginext Battle Armor Red Ranger. Now, if you've not seen these, the Imaginext series has done some interesting sort of original Power Ranger reboot designs, where they're based off the original designs, but they've got some cool toys. And the one that I've kind of been keeping my eyes out on is this Megazord. It's quite big. Other than a few elements on it that's designed for play, it does look pretty good if you like the sort of super deformed look. Yeah, check out the package back here. You can see some of the other figures. They have all the Rangers. Then they also have, you know, bad guys. Then we got the Zords, and then the Zords in their animal modes. But also, it shows what this is. So you've got the regular figure here, which is a little on the generic side, but it's not bad looking. And then what I got this for is this armor here. So what we're going to do, this is the first one I've gotten. There's a couple other ones they've done, and they've also done some of the DC Universe. So before we get started, what draws me to this line is their aesthetic. And the first thing I'd gotten, I got this for my kid, and I thought it was kind of cool just to display as well, is this classic style robot. I mean, it's very retro looking, reminds me of something maybe from the 50s that you might see in one of those old black and white movies. But it was kind of neat and interesting. But then I ran across these as well, and they just have a really neat aesthetic to the way they do their stuff. There's sort of a shark pirate ship, and then you have this underwater fish, you know, the one with the little light that dangles on the top, as a submarine. But yeah, they have a really cool aesthetic. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this guy out of the package and see what he looks like. Alright, so here we have everything out of the package. We have a Red Ranger here. It has some okay paint apps. It has the white details there, white boots and gloves. You can see the T-Rex teeth and the eye painted in. The only thing I don't care for, so they have this sort of tampoed mouth on there, and I think if it was just silver and molded to the shape, it'd be a little bit nicer. But it's just a cheap, simple little characterized figure. So let's look at some articulation. Got shoulder all the way around, outward. The gloves do rotate. Neck rotates. And then the legs, they are together. They can go into a sitting position. And that is all there is for articulation. And the other items it comes with, we've got the sword here. Folds out like this. And then we have the Zord. Now, I had to do a little research on this because there's no instructions on it, and when I looked around, it seems like everyone else is having the same problem. This sword goes in the back of this Zord. And the problem is, you would think, okay, I've got this long shaft here for the handle, there'd be a peg or something, or this clip somehow, but it was not intuitive. And what I'd figured out is this. And after looking at pictures, it makes sense because there's no articulation on this figure other than these toes. I'm like, well, why would these toes need to sort of move in and out? And so if you look here, there's this little rectangular section here, and then you have the slot. And it just slides in there, but it doesn't go flush. Because your first thought is like, oh, okay, it should go flush, and it would sit flat here. And that's why this is not intuitive. What happens is you kind of tilt this, and the toes tilt a little bit, and you do have a gap underneath there, but it does give it a more action, dynamic, leaning forward look. So it's not as static as a figure, but that is not intuitive on their part. It's actually kind of a flaw in the design, and perhaps the lack of instructions makes it unclear because it just says attaches in the back, and that's the only information they give you. So if you're trying to figure out what to do with the sword, that's how that goes. Now, what we really care about here, so let's look at the detail, because I think my favorite part of this is the little dinosaur. So you do have the toe articulation for that, and that's about it. Everything else is static. This does pop up, but this is meant for transformation, so it will not step on its own. Paint work is okay, but I do have a smudge here from the factory, and the paint is a little bit soft on the edges here. But for the most part, the plastic is decent quality. Overall looks pretty good. I have been happy with this line, and part of the reason I've collected their stuff is their aesthetic. So let's go ahead and combine this, and I'll show you some other stuff I've gotten as well. And the way this works is you just drop it on him, and it pops up. The sides pop up for the shoulders. The top comes up like a crest, like some of the old helmets you might have seen, and it even covers the feet. So it's pretty neat in that respect. The only thing is you do have this big gap here, but just as a neat little desk toy or something, just because you like the super deformed aesthetic, it's pretty cool. So pop the sword out, slides in the fist, and there you go. If the arms are down, I don't like it as much. I think it helps fill in the gaps when you put the arms out a little bit more. It does look better, but it is a neat looking little figure. These go for about $10, so for the kind of plastic you get and the aesthetic of it all, I think it's a fair price, though you might find it on sale. I don't know how popular these are going to be, but the overall Power Ranger line is pretty cool with this figure. So anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.